नमस्कार, मैं दुर्गेंद्र चौहान। दुनिया इस वक्त जलवायु परिवर्तन की समस्या को बहुत गंभीरता से ले रही है और एक समस्या बहुत बड़ी खड़ी हुई है पूरी दुनिया में। ये कहा जा रहा है कि क्लाइमेट चेंज हो रहा है, बहुत कुछ बदल रहा है और वो कुछ ऐसा बदल रहा है कि बड़ा ख़तरनाक है। पूरी दुनिया का कंसर्न है, भारत का भी कंसर्न है, दक्षिण एशियाई देशों का भी बहुत कंसर्न है। पूरी दुनिया इससे जूझ भी रही है और एक इसी बीच कहते हैं ना कि कोई समस्या आती है तो उसका समाधान कहीं ना कहीं निकलता है और उस समस्या के समाधान के रूप में एक शब्द इजाद किया गया है, सस्टेनेबल क्लाइमेट फाइनेंसिंग। ये शब्द आजकल खूब सुना जा रहा है और इस पर चर्चाएं हो रही हैं, बड़े बड़े सेमिनार हो रहे हैं। लेकिन मूल समस्या क्या है कि इस एक अंतर्राष्ट्रीय, इसको अगर आप सुनते हैं इस शब्द को तो लगता है कि कोई अंतर्राष्ट्रीय समस्या है, वो है भी अंतर्राष्ट्रीय समस्या, लेकिन इसका स्थानीय निकाय सरकार, लोकल सेल्फ गवर्नमेंट से क्या लेना देना है, ये बड़ा महत्वपूर्ण है। इसको लेकर तमाम सेमिनार हो रहे हैं। हमारे साथ इस सेमिनार को एक तरीके से मूर्त रूप जो दे रहे हैं अभिषेक पांडे हैं, बहुत सीनियर जर्नलिस्ट हैं। अभिषेक पांडे अर्बन अपडेट के संपादक हैं। अभिषेक जी, बहुत स्वागत है इस कार्यक्रम में आपका। और अभिषेक इस कार्यक्रम के साथ में लगातार कुछ सवालात, बीइंग ए जर्नलिस्ट, हम एक हमारे साथ एक एडिटर के रूप में वो रहेंगे और लगातार चीज़ों को वो करेंगे। तो इन सब अहम मुद्दों पर बात करने के लिए जो हमारे पास इस वक्त गेस्ट हैं, डॉक्टर बर्नाडिया इरावती चंद्रा देवी हैं, सेक्रेटरी जनरल हैं UCLG के, और वो कुल मिलाकर अगर ये संस्था के बारे में कहें, डॉक्टर बर्नाडिया के बारे में, तो ये यूनाइटेड सिटीज़ एंड लोकल गवर्नेंस एशिया पैसिफिक संस्था है। ये पूरे विश्व में काम करती है, दुनिया के सारे देशों में, और डॉक्टर बर्नाडिया इसे हेड करती हैं यहाँ पर जो एशिया पैसिफिक में है। तो बहुत सारे चीज़ें अभी हम अगले कुछ देर में उनसे जानेंगे। डॉक्टर बर्नाडिया, बहुत बहुत स्वागत आपका, बहुत धन्यवाद, आभार वक्त देने के लिए। इस कार्यक्रम में मेरा पहला सवाल यही है कि क्लाइमेट फाइनेंसिंग की आवश्यकता क्यों पड़ी, ज़रूरी क्यों है ये?
So the question is that first of all, welcome to this show, Dr. BERNADIA. And the question is that climate change is a global issue. And when we talk about global issue, the role of local governments, like we all know, I am just expanding this question. The role of local governments is very important because the actions, because I think the Secretary General of United Nations said that 70%, more than 70% of actions will take place at the local level. So why this climate change and the role of local governments is interconnected, and what kind of role you are playing in this whole scheme of things?
Okay, namaskar, namaste. Very pleased to join you in this media gathering. Indeed, climate change, we feel it. It's not a distant issue because we see that there are different kind of temperature patterns, weather patterns, and some areas have much longer dry seasons, wet seasons. So we also see that there is sinking, even a big city like Jakarta. And this is certainly we feel, and the people feel. And so this is a global issue, but the solutions are at the local level. I think we know that cities, for example, more than 50% of the big population and world populations live in cities. And cities contribute 70% of greenhouse gas emissions because of the number of people living in the cities. But these also cities are quite resilient and prone towards all kind of disasters. So this is the reason why we address climate change at the city level, at the local level, because of that situation. And we also understand that local governments are close to the community. So the community feel all those kind of changes on climate. So, and this is quite crucial that cities must make actions, because even though cities contribute 70% of greenhouse gas emission, but cities also have solutions. So as United Cities and local governments, this is I always say that it's like a United Nation, but at the local level, because we connect local governments in different tiers of local governments in more than 194 countries in the world. And we connect more than 240,000 of local governments in the world. And I represent the Asia Pacific region. This is actually the largest regional section of UCLG, in which we have more than 3 billion people living in these regions, because we include China, Indonesia, and India. We are here in India. So this is the reason why we put it, climate change as our priority for our actions. So we gather here in Kochi, basically because India also has similar challenges that we face, looking at this climate change, and also Kochi. I know it's a beautiful city. I have not been here before, and we will have a chance to see more tomorrow. But Kochi also quite unique because they also shown some progress in addressing the climate change, particularly on financing aspects. And the topic itself also as a top priority of most local governments in the world, particularly because there is a climate change gap of almost, if it's predicted, we need 5.4 trillion US dollar per year to meet those demands on climate financing. But in reality, we only reach 380 billion US dollar. So where we can find those resources in order to implement whatever climate actions that we have? There are a lot of innovative financings that are available. I think there are also already good cases how many local governments also come up with a lot of innovations in the implementation of the climate actions. This includes working with private companies in the form of PPP, just like water metro in Kochi, and also solar panel in the airport that you have. This is just a few examples. There are also another financing alternatives, because local governments cannot just wait central governments to give them funding. We have to come up with alternative solutions, alternative financing solutions. This include, of course, blended finance, bonds, municipal bonds, and many other things. Climate fund, green climate fund, and then there are several other climate options.
जी, तो कुल मिलाकर अगर देखा जाए तो बहुत सारे तरीके डॉक्टर बनाडिया ने बताया कि नहीं हम ऐसे करते हैं। आपकी संस्था जो है UCLG एस्पेक की, ये इस कोई विशेष प्रकार की कोई चलाती है योजना जिससे कि लोकल सेल्फ गवर्नमेंट को मदद करें? कैसे करते हैं? ये बड़ा महत्वपूर्ण है जानना, क्योंकि ये जो शब्द है क्लाइमेट फाइनेंसिंग, ये शब्द अभी एक बहुत एलीट सेक्टर में अभी टहल रहा है। जिनको करना है या जिनके लिए है उन तक ये अभी पहुंचा नहीं, ये थीम नहीं पहुंचा है। तो हाउ UCLG is helping local government and planning?
So the question is that what role UCLG is playing in enabling cities to access climate finance options, and what kind of support you are providing by training or by workshops, or providing them hand-holding support, and what kind of challenges you are facing?
I can say that there are three big roles of these organizations. Number one, advocacy. Advocacy is extremely important because this is the way you speak up how important local governments in addressing the climate finance and climate actions overall. So at the UN system, I think you also heard of this loss and damage fund. We are the observer of loss and damage funds. This is just to show you that if we don't speak up, local governments don't speak up, then this is a place where we can get the greater voices, and then this can also make some kind of influence how important local governments in this arena.
I will just add on what he had asked, that what is the status of cities?
Yes.
Cities in the sense that if we say that this is step 1, this is step 2 and this is step 3 where you access the funds. So at what stage the South Asian and Indonesian cities are in?
Yeah, maybe I'll take all general. Yeah. So second point, indeed, cities have a lack of capacities. First, they don't have a capacity how to prepare very good programs or good projects, or even prepare action plans. This is what we have been preparing, helping local governments in a climate action plans development, which is integrated in the overall plan of cities. So this is second point that I like to add here, how important of having good plans in climate. And this must be integrated in this local development plan. It should not be seen as an isolated plan. This is second important things. The third important things is accessibility. Because if you have a climate action plans, you know what you plan to do or you implement for these climate actions, then you have to know also how to access those funding. So we have been kind of bridging all those local governments with potential funding, potential supports from the financial agencies. This is why in this session, for example, we have a pitching session. We also have a pairing session with local governments. So I can emphasize once again the importance of advocacy, the importance of capacity building. This includes also knowledge sharing. This is what we have been doing. And the third one is collaboration and networking, because local governments alone, you need some support. You cannot do it by yourself. You need collaboration. You also need to collaborate with companies. You need to collaborate with community groups. You need to collaborate also with central governments. But we know that several countries have different level of decentralizations. In Indonesia, local governments are powerful. They have a mandate, they have authority to do whatever they can within their territories. But in other countries, you have centralized system. So it's very diverse. We cannot just compare two countries, but I think in general, we see that decentralization level is getting stronger and stronger.
महिलाओं की बड़ी भूमिका है और पूरे देश में, पूरे विश्व में महिलाओं को लेकर कहा जा रहा है कि महिलाएं इमर्ज कर रही हैं एक लीडर के रूप में। जो लोकल सेल्फ गवर्नमेंट जो होते हैं उनमें महिलाएं इलेक्ट होके या सेलेक्ट होके आ जाती हैं, लेकिन वो उस तरीके से डिसीजन नहीं ले पाती, उस तरह की चीज़ें नहीं ले पाती। तो उनकी ट्रेनिंग के लिए, वुमेन एम्पावरमेंट के लिए आपकी संस्था क्या कर रही है?
There are women representation at local level, so that is very important issue that especially in developing countries, the women are elected, but sometimes they are not actual leaders, they are proxy candidates sometimes. So how do you see that, and what kind of support your organization is providing to these women elected representatives?
Yeah. This is also one of the areas, important areas that the organization has been addressing, especially related to women political positions, because in Asia and Pacific particularly, we see some countries that have increased number of female elected persons, but there are also some countries that we see as decreasing. But this is of course related very much on the political system that you have in the country. Like you have a quota system, that certain countries must have 30% of women candidates, yeah. But sometimes women candidates they are put on the bottom list of these candidacies. But I think this should have a combination of several points here. Number one is this, I give you the example in Nepal. Nepal put a constitution that half of the elected local government leaders must be female. If the mayor is male, then the vice mayor must be female. This they put as a part of constitution, and it took a long time for the local government's bodies there in advocating the importance of elected women in Nepal. So this is just one example that you need to have a strong kind of legal that put that important aspects of female leaders. Second, sometimes women, especially in Asia, they feel like it's a kind of taboo for them to be part of this political arena, because they see that that's only men arena, it's not for women. So sometimes they become the leaders because of the family, because of the support that the family gave. So I think the second one is the importance of education, because if the women leaders are giving a chance to lead, they will do differently. They will focus on nutrition. They will focus on feminist movement. They will focus also on education. They will focus on family affairs. That's the nature that women have. So that's the second point that I like to have, is that education. We have to educate people. We have to educate even male and boys, from the house, starting from the early age and the family. So this is quite important on the aspect of education. The third point, sometimes if women leaders are in the position, they feel like lonely because they really need support. So we have a kind of network. We created a network in Asia Pacific of elected women's networks, and we learn from African experience, because they also have a similar network of female leaders. So that's what we have been doing. We have mentoring program. We also have like a training on women empowerment leaders. Yeah, we also have a training program related to gender participatory planning and budgeting. So how we integrate all the gender equity in the planning and the management of the cities. So this is some of the things that we do. We also have a city-to-city cooperation. We have collaborate with many local governments. But you have to have a supporting mechanism for the women to lead that positions, but also to become the good leaders. So I think this quite important aspects, and I think we are doing quite well on that.
Dr. BERNADIA, it is a very important issue is financial autonomy. Financial autonomy is a very important issue. What is the status of financial autonomy in Indonesia and other countries, South Asia, SPEC?
Okay, actually, because I just give you several examples, because we do a comparison on level of decentralizations in several countries in Asia Pacific. As I said, in some countries, local governments are not given enough mandate or authority. Yeah, you already know which countries they are. So even for solid waste management, in some countries are not handled by local governments. But there are some countries, the decentralization level is quite high, including Indonesia, Philippines. We have elected leaders at the local government level, even in the central government level. So we have, with these elected leaders with good enough authority or mandate given to local governments, then you can actually have authority to manage your own territories. And the level, for example, for Indonesia, in Indonesia, local governments can do everything they like related to financing. You can create municipal bonds, you can create blended finance, you can even borrow from a domestic bank. For borrowing with external, then you need the guarantee from the central government. So you're quite flexible in doing that. But even though with legislation that is given to you, you don't actually do it because of that lack of capacity. Even when the local governments have a high credit rating of A+, they don't even release municipal bonds. This is just to show you example that we need a good enabling environments that comparing all of this authority given but they also have to be given capacities. They have to be given capacity in terms of training, how to develop investment plan, how to develop bankable projects, how to develop good program that really attract investment. So you need a good combination of those enabling environment, not just putting the legislation in place, but how this legislation is also applied.
एक और महत्वपूर्ण सवाल ये है कि विश्व के जो विकसित देश हैं वो इसमें उनका जो इसको बर्बाद करने में क्लाइमेट को बर्बाद करने में उनका बहुत बड़ा योगदान है, लेकिन वो उतना कंट्रीब्यूट नहीं कर रहे हैं वो, और जो विकासशील देश है उनका बहुत थोड़ा, ये कहा जाए कि 70 और 30 का रेशियो है, लेकिन वो अब अपने आप को पीछे हट रहे हैं। आपकी संस्था इसके लिए क्या कोई प्रयास कर रही है?
So is addressing the elephant in the room kind of situation, like after Trump came to power. So the US has said that now no Paris Accord, nothing doing. We will go our own way. So his question is that developed nations have contributed to climate change, and the developing countries are the ones who are suffering the most. So how do you look at this issue, and what is the way forward? How do we go ahead and address this issue?
Yeah, actually, it's a bit unfortunate that that decision was made by U.S. elected leader of leaving Paris Agreement, because when we look at carbon footprint, U.S. has quite high carbon footprint compared to many countries in Bangladesh, Pakistan, or even many other developing countries. It's just a bit unfortunate that decision was made. But of course, we should still be optimistic, because if you see the word crisis in China, it actually compare this word of crisis or word of disaster in two characters in China. One show crisis, but second show opportunities. I think whatever crisis you have, there must be some opportunities that may come up on these things, and I think there are many countries that will take up will still keep their commitment based on the Paris agreements, and maybe they can offer more supports, but it doesn't mean that with decision of US then we have to stop everything and we become hopeless. I think we really need to come up with a way of doing investment that really go for sustainability in terms of development, So investment that really pro to environment, but in the sense that it also support economic activities of the countries or the people. So it should not be just looking at one aspect, but we have to have a good combination. I think I see a lot of companies are moving towards more sustainabilities. It means they are promoting more sustainable development by by applying SDGs, by applying also this ESG, environmental social governance. So this just to show that if we don't protect this earth together, where are we going to live? Are we going to move to another planet that we don't know yet? Elon Musk is planning to go to Mars. So my point is that indeed, I personally feel regret that that decision was made by a big leader of US, but I think
Dr. BERNADIA, this is not just about US. Actually, if I look at this is a supplementary question, because after Paris Accord, it was decided that 100 billion every year. So what happened to that till 2025? And after that, we have another goalpost we have set. So how do you look at it? Are you optimistic that other developed countries are going to come forward and keep their commitment?
No, you asked a question whether the other developed countries will come and commit. I think this is what I said earlier, and we are here actually as part of the climate resilient inclusive cities programs that has been implemented by UCLG Asia with support of the European Union. This is just an example that we are still optimistic that a lot of developed countries will continue commitments, and it's not just pledging, but really put their resources on the table. So this is just an example why we are here, because of the climate resilient inclusive city supported by European Union.
डॉक्टर बर्नाडिया, इस द इंटरव्यू का ये अंतिम सवाल होगा मेरा, बड़ा महत्वपूर्ण सवाल है कि स्टूडेंट में है उसको क्रिक के बारे में, जैसे जो लोग आए हैं इसमें और वो सीख रहे हैं, इसका आप कहाँ तक देख पाती हैं, इसका असर कहाँ तक देख पाती, इम्पैक्ट कहाँ तक देखते हैं कि ये लोग जो सीख कर जाएंगे, क्या जिस उद्देश्य के लिए क्रिक जो ये कॉन्फ्रेंस या सम्मेलन या जो भी हम लोग एफर्ट डाल रहे हैं, तो क्या ये जमीन तक, नीचे ग्राउंड लेवल तक उतरता आपको दिख रहा है क्या?
You have organized this program under CRIC project. So what is the impact at the ground level, at the city level, this whole exercise that you're doing here?
Actually, CRIC connects 3 continents. We include Southeast Asia, we include South Asia, that's why we are here in India. We also have partners from European institutions. So these 3 connections are quite important, because then there is a knowledge sharing, there is also capacity building program, and several tools have been developed. Also those 10 pilot cities from Indonesia have already developed climate action plans that will be integrated in the local development plan, so for execution. So there's several, and for the impact, actually the leaders, the local government leaders that join CRIC, they put a commitment on this and they put it into actions. For example, city of Samarinda put resources and make city become less resilient by putting, but by giving some works related to resiliency. And also local governments in Indonesia particularly, they also put already risk mapping, hazard map. They also include tools, they have a financing option. So the impact is number 1.
बहुत शुक्रिया, बहुत धन्यवाद डॉक्टर इरावती चंद्र देवी बर्नाडिया, बहुत धन्यवाद आपका, सेक्रेटरी जनरल यूनाइटेड सिटीज़ एंड लोकल गवर्नमेंट। आपको बहुत उम्मीद है कि जो ट्रेनिंग प्रोग्राम है, बहुत सारी जो योजनाएं हैं, उनको लेकर हम ज़मीन तक जाएंगे तो सूरत हाल ज़रूर बदलेगा। डॉक्टर बर्नाडिया हमारे देश में आई, उनका बहुत स्वागत, बहुत धन्यवाद। अभिषेक, आपका भी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। नमस्कार।
आप देख रहे हैं के न्यूज़, खबरों का सारथी।